And I understand that the reason why the narrative is pushed is because it's outrage fodder. I get it. I want to believe it because I think it's funny.
Yeah, I get you there.
And that's where there's a little dislocation between you and me. You seem to be very hung up on facts, okay? I get hung up on what's amusing me right now. Now, when you go down a YouTube rabbit hole or an internet rabbit hole, you'll be a little drunk, just like we all are, and you'll be like, I can't quite go to sleep yet, but I know I should. And you'll go on Wikipedia. And you'd be like, oh, these facts are interesting. I can use these in arguments. And then you watch a few YouTube videos and you'd be like, these facts are interesting. I can use these. Let me see if these facts are true. And you'll go back to Wikipedia and you'll re-look up the same facts to make sure they're true. And then if you can't verify something between the two sources, you'll look up like AP articles from 10 years ago and you'll see if there's like a line, a chain of command, a paper trail to verify whether or not these facts are true. Here's what I do when I go down an internet rabbit hole. That looks funny. Let's see where that goes. I'm not interested in what's true. I'm interested in what people believe. I don't care what's true. I don't care if you're eating bugs. I choose to believe it because it makes me laugh and it gets my dick hard and I need to jerk off in order to go to sleep at night. That's why I do it that way. And that's a healthier way to do it.
When I get drunk, I go on YouTube and internet rabbit holes where I just sit there and I find things that make me feel so deeply that I start to weep and then watch them again because they didn't hurt me enough. I think you're really mischaracterizing what I do when I'm drunk.
That's so sad. That's so darkly sad. That's true. I know it's true. Like, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, fuck, he's being so sincerely, tenderly, vulnerably honest right now.
Like a wonder bra, overwhelming your senses by dividing and conquering. This is the New World Order broadcast, coming to you live from the end of the world.
You know, I kind of like that. I feel like we do uplift and separate.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Uplift and separate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah,
I like that. That's good.
I like to call it the separation of powers.
Okay.
I nicknamed my boobs Church and State so I could separate them.
You could have separated them without naming your boobs.
I needed to.
Okay.
For personal reasons.
No, man, I get it. It's fine. You do whatever you want with your boobs. They're your boobs. Your body, your choice.
No.
Which one is church and which one is state and why?
Well, I feel like church is close to my heart.
Isn't the heart in the middle? Isn't that part of the Mandela Effect? Like, we were all taught as children that your heart is slightly to your left side. But the Mandela Effect is like, nope, it's actually center. We never taught you that.
No, so they did teach that, and the reason why is because the shape of it actually goes toward the left.
So that's just a thing.
It's in the center, but yeah, the shape of it is.
That's like something that's brought up a lot on the videos that are conspiracy theory videos about the Mandela Effect.
Really? The left hand is the heart thing? Why would that be Mandela Effect? That's weird.
Yeah, because we were all taught in school that it's slightly to your left side. And when you pledge allegiance to the flag, you use your right hand and you put it slightly to the left-hand side of your body because that's where your heart is. Mm. And then if you look at a diagram now as adults, it's directly in center.
I feel like maybe somebody just got lazy there and they were like, this is uncomfortable, or is this you can just kind of like relax?
I feel the same way, but I also feel like maybe people just don't know how to spell Jewish names where cartoon bears are going to be offended and they don't give a shit.
Berenstein Jewish?
Well, I don't know.
Because I thought it's Berenstain, Stain. I thought that was the Mandela Effect point, was that it's not Steen, it's Stain.
Yeah. Is it not Jewish one way or the other?
I mean, it's not Jewish, period, because...
God damn it, have you not seen them in the toilet paper commercials? And they're so adamant that the toilet paper that they use is super soft on their assholes. Does that not seem like something a Jewish person would be concerned about?
I think you're being speciest. I don't think those are the same bears.
I'm also being very racist, but yes, speciest, certainly.
Oh, Lord.
How's everybody doing? Harry!
Yeah.
How's your cider moonshine? How is it? He just made himself some cider moonshine. Is it good?
Good.
All right. I can't drink that shit.
So, I don't know if you recall this, but like back when we were in our, what was that, 20s? Maybe late 20s?
Who knows?
We sat there and we went to our friend's house and he had moonshine that like was so potent that when you drank it, it was like drinking air.
Oh yeah, burned out my nose hairs. I didn't have to shave my nose hairs.
Yeah, it's crazy. It like didn't even feel like liquid.
Oh no, you're talking about Goblin Juice.
Maybe?
Yeah, that's something different. Luke.
Yeah.
So this thing tasted like phlegm. Like it was so if you have it at body temperature when you make this, it is the most potent drink you can have.
Yeah, it's like 140 proof or something stupid.
It's totally stupid. But it doesn't taste like anything. On your tongue, it tastes like phlegm. It has the weight of phlegm, like your own saliva. Like you feel like you take a swig of it and you're just like, that was a lot of saliva. And then all of a sudden, you're in the next day.
Do you remember the Constantine film with Keanu Reeves as John Constantine?
Yeah, great film.
Yeah, so it always drinking that reminded me of the scene where that preacher is going crazy, like the guy who can see visions and everything,
Right.
and keeps going to pour the alcohol in his mouth, but to him nothing's coming out.
Right.
But he's actually drinking himself to death.
Drinking himself to death.
That's
right.
what it felt like to drink that. It felt like I tipped up this glass, but nothing came out.
I gave Luke so much credit as an alchemist after he created that godforsaken concoction, because it was like, do you want to get really drunk but not know it? Do you just want to wake up and it be tomorrow? Well, stay tuned. We have a special elixir on sale right now from InfoWars.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, whew, God damn it. I just woke up and I was like on the shitter the next day. And I was like, wait a second, how many hours have passed? And I'm doing what? Oh, there's things coming out of my ass. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, that stuff was dangerous. Like people sit there and talk about Long Island iced teas and stuff like that being dangerous because it doesn't feel like you're drinking alcohol. That didn't even feel like you're drinking liquid.
Yeah, it was just like, it was as natural as swallowing your own spit.
Yeah, it was, that stuff's
Crazy,
dangerous.
crazy dangerous. But I'm sure Harry feels like he's drinking jet fuel right now.
That's all right.
You already look drunk. You got your headphones hanging on your head.
He actually looks like he's wearing them like almost like a Rambo kind of bandana across his forehead. I'm waiting for him to pull out the M16
Freedom fighter, baby.
or
Freedom fighter.
M60. It was an M60 that Rambo had, right?
Yep.
Freedom fighter. Absolutely.
But yeah, so I wanted to briefly bring up a curious thing that passed through my head. So before I left for the holidays,
this also sounds dangerous. Good.
but so before I left for the holidays, I went to get a haircut, and you know, me being a relatively unattractive and unkempt person,
That's true. All those things are true.
exactly. So I'm not sure if you guys are the right people to ask for this
Because we're both very kempt and very attractive. That's true.
yes,
Yeah.
but the question arose in me. Because I just went to like a cheap place to get my hair cut. I'm obviously not going to like Vidal Sassoon.
No, it's not going to make any difference. Look at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like fucking painting the Titanic.
Mm.
But
Underwater.
no, like the iceberg hit, and like, oh, it scraped the paint. Let's take care of that.
Well, I think the iceberg hit, the Titanic sank. Now it's at the bottom of the ocean. Hey, let's go paint that shit. That's more like what it's for you.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah. And then other people will go into a can and go down to the bottom of the ocean to look at it.
And get popped.
And they'll die instantly.
Oh, that voyage was like Pringles. Once it pops, it don't stop.
Dude, it's just the irony of it is.
They were controlling it with a fucking Xbox controller.
Yeah.
What did they expect?
Yeah, and also just like, hey, a bunch of rich people died from their hubris. Let's go check that out as rich people that have hubris, and then we're dead too. Now
Oh, crap.
That part of the ocean is now just a vortex for death and hubris.
It's just going to keep bringing in rich people
If
looking to check out the deaths of other rich people.
If I ever end up like that prideful and that wealthy, please remember not to go anywhere near that part of the ocean, because I will instantly be sucked to the bottom and I will die.
I just love that becomes like a Darwinian cycle of just like, this is how you get rid of the rich, make them really so wealthy that they can be so curious about how their previous rich people died that they go and die.
Hey, listen, anybody want to get rid of Elon Musk? Don't convince him to go into one of his own rocket ships. He's too smart for that. Convince him to go inspect the Titanic. He's gonna die instantly.
Isn't it funny how the mastery of the ocean is further from us than the mastery of space?
I wouldn't say further the mastery, but it's right now. I mean, we are setting our sights on the horizon of intergalactic exploration in our own heads with our hubris, and we have conquered less than 10% of the oceans. It's crazy.
Oh, sure, we've conquered a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent of outer space,
Like
but
nothing.
But hear me out though. How many miles is it to the moon?
I don't know. What do I
Because
look
it's
like?
thousands.
It's a lot.
We can't make it like a couple of miles into the ocean.
Fair enough. Good point. All right. I mean, how many miles down is the Titanic? They tried. It's a valiant effort.
I don't even think it's a mile. You know what? Let's check this out. Hold on. I'm gonna.
All right. You had something to say about haircuts.
No,
but-
we'll get to that in a minute. I'm curious about this now.
All right. Wreck. Yeah, do that one.
All right. So the Titanic wreck is 13,000 feet.
Well, a mile is only two.
That's only
2,500.
2 point something miles.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
isn't a mile like 2,500 feet?
No, 5,000.
No. 5,868
Oh shit.
Yeah.
for a mile.
So that is just over 2 miles.
Well, I don't think any of the SpaceX rockets are going up with Xbox controllers, so I'm just going to go on record as saying
I hope
that.
not.
Well, Elon Musk has a weird sense of humor, but I don't know. I don't know about that. So haircuts.
No, yeah. So before I went away for the holidays, I wanted to get a haircut because haven't seen some of these people in quite a long time. Only met them once in some cases.
Sure.
And I sat there and went to get a haircut,
Mm.
and I went to a cheap place to get the haircut, and I could instantly tell the guy was doing a terrible job. And so my question ends up becoming: is there a polite way to back out of a haircut?
Okay.
I'm just curious, like, any suggestions? Because I immediately knew he was doing a terrible job.
Mm.
Like, so my hair's slicked back basically right now,
Mhm.
but I've got this whole ducktail thing still going on.
Oh,
here.
yeah, sure.
I got my hair cut a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He did not do any of that correctly. And if I pulled my hair down, there would be this single set of strands that comes all the way down to my chin.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, no, it's completely fucking uneven.
Hmm.
He completely botched it. And I could tell he was nervous as shit. I could tell he didn't know what he was doing.
All right.
And so, is there a way or point during a haircut process where you can politely opt out?
Well, I think the gentleman in the room that has the best haircut is obviously Harry. So let's ask him, what do you do when you know halfway through a haircut you're getting a bad haircut? What do you do? How do you politely pull out?
That's what she said.
I just look for the license on the wall, and I ask her, did you go to school in jail for making haircuts?
And if he says yes, you know you're in good hands.
Then I know I'm in trouble.
No, if they went to jail, they're probably pretty decent, actually.
Yeah, well, they'll teach you anything in jail.
Well, let me ask you, the gentleman,
Yeah, gentlemen.
did you ask?
I didn't ask, but he was presenting male.
Well, that's your first mistake. You assumed. And second of all, if it was a guy, was it a gay guy?
So that I don't know. I felt like those were not opening questions because the way that process usually works is, so what are you in here for today? And I'm like, okay, I want this, or you show them a picture.
Okay, so I used to have hair, and I used to have a wonderful hairdresser. I used to get dye jobs. I'd get it teased, the whole fucking thing. I was very vain. I'm totally not now.
You looked like the lead singer of Whitesnake.
This is me dressed down. I'm totally not vain. And here's the way the conversation went. Hey, what are you in here for? Just like you said. And I'd be like, hey, I'm in here to get a good haircut. What are your sexual preferences? And if he said, I like dick, I know I'm in good hands. If he said, I like pussy or children, I know I have to get the fuck out of the chair. And that relieves you of the responsibility of needing to pull out halfway through a self-perceived artist has gone through his creation process with you as a canvas. So if he likes anything other than big hard cocks, you don't get a haircut by that individual.
So what I would like here, in the event that anyone ever watches this, is for every meticulously awesome fucking barber who sits there and is just like does fades that are within millimeters and shit like that. I want you to leave as much hate mail for him as possible.
So there's only one type of person that does good haircuts. And for some reason, it's the individual that likes cock. Straight women and gay men. Those are the only
breasts.
I feel like they lean a little better because they're kind of weighed over your head, and you know, their center of gravity is such that it is. Yeah, you might have a point there. But if they don't like penises inside their body, they're not going to give you a good haircut. Now, it's been a while.
Again, every barber who is straight, please leave as much hate mail as possible. Thank you.
Straight women are straight.
Every male barber.
Did you ask them? I don't know. I think that was your mistake.
So the funny thing is though, like that can be, you know, all of your like joking homophobia aside.
Joking.
I hope.
I'm not homophobic. I'm just saying people who prefer penises in their body give better haircuts. That's my lived experience. You cannot take a shit on my lived experience. That is the way the world has presented itself to me. It's not me making opinions on it. That is my lived experience.
Did you ask the world if that's how it was presenting?
Touche. Fair enough.
But yeah, so like with situations like that, where the process itself is something that's irreversible, that's going to start, and like you realize it's going south, like how do you call an audible on that? Like with anything, like not even just like a, because like if somebody fucks up painting your house, you can paint over it.
Right. Well, I think it's different for everybody, and it depends on the artisan that you get doing this job for you. Like, for example, the guy that Harry goes to, if he wants to pull out in the middle of a haircut, Harry just says, hit the off switch, because the guy has a lawnmower. So as long as he hits the off switch in time, you know, he looks basically the same.
How you feeling about that?
Harry's not feeling anything but his fucking cider moonshine right now.
First of all, I don't go to male barbers.
There you go. Because a lot of them are straight. You can't trust those motherfuckers.
No, I go to female barbers.
Of course.
And they gotta be a little on the chunky side.
That makes sense, actually.
You were in the military. They cut your hair there. Did they do a shitty job?
You ever see a military haircut?
It's not who he's non-existent. That's when he was in the military. He's not going there by choice. Fuck you. He's going to a woman because there's more of a chance they want a dick in their body.
I think he just likes their fingers running through his hair, but
actually, that's apropos.
Might losing my hair anyway. I'm halfway. You're all way, and he's got it all.
No, it's true. You know, fuck you and your coif.
Fabrier.
I loved having you here remotely. I fucking loved it. You prance around the studio with your full head of hair at 41 years old. La, la, la. Look at me. And you're like this all the time. You're like, look at me. Oh, it's in my face. Oh, let me put it back a little. Fuck you. You motherfucker.
You know what's...
I hide all the good parts of me so that you guys don't get jealous. And I feel like you show yours off contemptuously.
Really? Because if I didn't have to have this facing out, I wouldn't. Like, the mask mandates went away. I just kept wearing a mask. It was much, much more comfortable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're hideous. But I mean, your head of hair, you didn't have a mask on your hair.
No, yeah, true. I wasn't wearing a bird.
You don't wear a hat. That's a hair mask. That's what I'm wearing right now.
You always look weird on me. I'm very jealous of you.
Oh, because you're horrendous. But if you wore a mask and a hat and you had like a ninja look going on, that would be great because you're hiding the ugliest parts that make us all want to vomit. But also the part that you're showing off so bombastically, you're also hiding that to be polite.
You realize that you're just describing Chris Farley in Beverly Hills Ninja, and that is not a good look.
Did you feel like you were looking in a mirror the first time you watched that movie?
That movie spoke to me. I felt seen.
I felt seen. I felt seen. Finally, they made a movie for me.
Exactly.
Nice. That's great. Oh my god, that's funny.
But yeah, it was definitely one of those things that I was pondering as he just like relentlessly hacked away. Like you know, I finally understood how my high school girlfriends felt. Like just somebody just like hammering away at something that they're not good at.
Oh, you mean with like hand jobs? Like just in
general? No. Like me, like I finally understood how they felt about me. Just like, this is, I signed up for this, but I want to opt out, but he's already in.
Yeah. So here's what I would probably say. You said you were gay, and I'm pretty sure you just committed a hate crime. So I'm out of here, and you'll be hearing from my lawyer. That's what I would say to get out of a bad haircut.
See, I would like to set
because I always ask, I make sure that they're gay first.
See, I would like to set up like a pro sports system again to get away from your bigotry, and just like have it like so you can like hold up at like soccer, like hold up a yellow card, be like, nah, dude, like you're close to getting kicked out of here.
That's not bad.
You know, like maybe we could just make some kind of universal system.
That's a decent idea
to let people who are bad at their jobs know that we're starting to get wary of them.
Now, if I were Dennis, what I would do is I'd have a Halloween mask with crepe hair on it, where it's like patchy like a zombie mask. And if you don't like your haircut, you just put it over your head. And if he can't tell the difference,
just
if he keeps cutting,
throw your phone across the room. Oh, can you get that for me, buddy?
You fucking, if he can't tell the difference, you fucking run away like immediately. You know what I mean? Like me, I cut my own hair and I still do a bad job. Sometimes.
Oh, back when I used to shave my head, like I used to miss spots and find out about it 2 days later, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I see a lot of spots that you missed right now.
Oh yeah, on my face, sure, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I actually have to trim my beard in a weird way because I have to keep the silver.
Was he ever a neo-Nazi?
What?
Was he ever a skinhead?
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, I used to shave my head, yeah.
Yeah, he was he hated Jews. Like, totally hated Jews. Oh my god, he was so deep into it. He's a fucking, like, he turned around hardcore when Biden got elected. Like, I don't know, he has a hard-on for Biden. Before that...
He's such a progressive candidate. Like, he does so much.
Before that, he had his head shaved. He had his eyebrows shaved. He was goose-stepping up and down my hallway. He was talking about space lasers and Jewish conspiracies, and they run Hollywood, and... Oh my god, I brought home a Jewish friend once, and he was like, show me the gold around your neck, dude. Show me the gold. He went South Park before South Park was even there. It was really weird.
I was a terrifying human being.
Really weird. Yeah. Yeah. You are going to hell, and I think that you're trying to make up for that with your progressive state now.
You know,
And you feel like the more progressive you get, it's going to cause erasure in your previous neo-Nazi life. But you didn't die between them, so it's one life, and nothing can erase that. You need to stop trying.
You know,
you might as well just own it.
Much like Chris Farley was the Great White Ninja foretold by prophecy, I was set straight by the Great White Hunter, who exposed me to how Judaism and Christianity can be this amorphous thing that makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. So anybody who
turned me around.
So anybody that doesn't know, the Great White Hunter is code name for our mother, Talking Head, and I, that traded in a 9mm for a crossbow because she said, well, at least if shit hits the fan, I'll be able to kill a deer. And I heard that and I was like, you with a crossbow? No, you're not. No, you're not. So now Harry and I refer to this lady of the evening, crazy cat lady, as the Great White Hunter, who is going to, with in her 60s, with no education and no formal training, she's going to take a crossbow out into the woods and kill a deer when she gets hungry. It's that easy. It's totally that easy.
I actually suggested that she sharpen her nails and teeth, but then just jump out of a tree.
Just ride it until it dies.
It can be that deer's ride or die, bitch.
Nice. All right. Nice thing for her. She doesn't have to get her hair cut. She just lets it grow.
Let it grow.
You know, she had gray hair and it went away.
Mrs. Claro.
No, she doesn't even wear makeup. Have you met her? I mean, have you met her? She was here at the compound for quite a while. No.
The Great White Hunter is not vain in that capacity.
No, if her skin turned black tomorrow, that she might take care of. But everything else, nothing. No.
I could see her turning blue from drinking colloidal silver.
I should have made that. I should have made that joke with the puppet, the Spencer puppet, the transracial.
Yeah.
I put up,
Have him drink colloidal.
Yeah. I just had it that he was dyeing his skin because he identifies as transracial. So, yeah. Which was pretty good. But you keep telling me every time I put up one of these puppet videos, dude, you should have had me help you write it. It would have been way funnier. Well, hey, go fix ovens. You don't have a lot of free time. I don't know what to tell you. I did my best. It has 111 views. It's not bad. Actually, more if you look at Rumble.
Well, no, in all honesty, the concept of making somebody who was so thoughtlessly liberal that they would dye themselves blue to transcend race. I find that funny.
It's kind of funny. It's not bad.
As a liberal, I trust me, like, we make fun of each other way more than a lot of right-leaning people think.
Well, you should, because you all deserve it.
No, 100%.
Yeah. Dude, just swing the mic out. You don't have to go around it. You're fine. All right, whatever. He's getting more cider.
Getting all cidered up.
We're getting to that point of the night already. We're getting to that point. It's a
we're
bit
ahead of
early.
schedule.
Yeah. We're only 4 hours in, but we're already getting there. So I did have something I wanted to bring up that's been on my mind. So we're just going to do a hard pivot. When AI takes away everything that you can do because it can do it better than you, what is your value? As a human being, I've boiled it down into one idea or one word.
He's making me switch cameras so much.
And, oh shit, I don't know what the fuck he's doing now. He's got the poker out, but he's sitting down. Dude!
Great White Hunter.
Oh, you gotta get the mic.
We are gonna
Dude, is Harry drunker than us? What the fuck are you doing, man? Are you gonna shoot that into the wall? So no. This is a weapon that Harry made. Are you gonna shoot that into the wall? I got him 25 feet of surgical tubing.
This is for the Great White Hunter.
There you go.
She's gonna be able to shoot this.
Have it above the.
No, yeah, I can see it.
You got it.
We
Okay,
can see
okay.
it.
Yeah. So
It's basically an arrow slingshot. It's
arrow
like,
slingshot.
Yeah, it's like a crossbow and a slingshot made love.
It cost about $15 to make.
Okay.
And when you put the red dot on here, good for 50 feet.
Red dot targeting mechanism for military weapons, which he has plenty of, by the way.
And when you take this off and you put a razor head on it, guaranteed you could get a rabbit, a deer, human being.
I like a human being just have the question mark after it. Human being?
Maybe. Well, did you see what he did with the podcast where it was just me and him?
Yeah.
And he was like, now, have I killed a person with any of the weapons that I have here? And then he's like, I fucking me, like, I got it.
No, you even called him out on it.
Not any of the ones that you got here. I got the joke. I got it.
I told you I never shot anybody with any of my gun.
That you have here.
That's not a gun.
That you have here.
He just beat them to death.
Sharpened
with the gun.
With the well, gun. He sharpened his teeth and his nails.
I never shot anybody with these guns. I beat them to death.
Can you kill a human being with a bow and arrow slingshot, like a arrow slingshot? I'm sure you can.
Oh, if you hit him in the right place, yeah. I mean,
with a razor head, sure.
Well, when you think about even like knife laws in like New York State and stuff like that, it's like the reason why they can't be more than 4 fingers is because that can penetrate into your heart chamber.
I don't know, man. I feel like if you're fit, less than that can. They're just like average American is going to be like 8 inches of bullshit before you hit anything that they need.
Just to be clear, we're talking about the depth to the heart. Ladies, don't think 8's the average.
That's why the quickest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Now, I think that in The Sopranos, when he gets shot by Uncle June, he gets shot.
Spoilers. Nah, anyway.
Yeah, he eventually gets shot by Uncle Jim. But the reason why is really the main point of the plot, so I'm not spoiling anything for you. Also, it's more than 20 years old. Go fuck yourself.
Nah.
So when he gets shot by Uncle Jim, we're talking about Tony Soprano here. He ends up in the hospital unconscious for weeks. Give me a break. That bullet would have stopped after the first 12 inches of fat.
Do you know how bullets work?
Yeah.
Okay.
They go... They spread on impact. The holotips. Uncle June had holotips. He's in the mafia.
They don't spread on fat. They've got to hit something hard for the holotip to explode.
Oh, that's not true at all. They're lead-tipped. Holotips are lead-tipped.
But the thing that makes them spread is them hitting a hard surface.
The thing that creates impact, which is what makes them spread, is the speed.
I could be wrong.
You can die diving into water. Try it from high enough. You're not going to live. You hit differences in atmospheric pressure.
Unless you put glycerin in the head.
Unless what?
Glycerin. And you fill the head with glycerin.
Yeah.
When it hits, it spreads.
Well, holotip spread. That's what I'm talking about because they're lead tipped.
You're filling it up.
Because it explodes. Yeah. It explodes.
You got the hit right away.
Yeah, I just don't think a holotip bullet on Tony Soprano, even at 38, which is what it looked like June was firing, 8 inches, I don't think so.
So I feel like a lot of what...
You're going to have a lot of bleeding, but it's not hitting anything major.
I feel like when you're trying to decide what can kill people and what can't, I feel like most people don't understand how much of that is fucking luck. Because like so there was a guy who was who fell out of a plane, I believe it was in World War II.
Yeah, I know this story.
And he dropped thousands of feet.
20,000
feet.
Yeah.
And survived because he just happened to hit the roof of a church.
Well, it was also probably air pockets and different atmospheric pressures that broke his fall as he's coming down.
Yeah, and so it's like, no matter what circumstances you're in, never discount luck.
Now, this gentleman was fucked up.
Oh, but he survived.
He survived. Yeah. Lived the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he surved for a day. For the rest of his life.
He lived until he died of natural causes.
There was red buttons in the longest day. And he ended up on the scaffold. He was 101st Airborne.
Okay.
He was deaf when he got done.
Uh-huh.
That's when the German troops were shooting them in the parachute coming down.
Okay.
For the longest day.
Yeah, so he ended up on the scaffold. He was being
He ended
hung.
up on the church scaffold.
Okay.
Right next to the bell, and it was going dong, dong, dong for hours, and he went deaf.
Okay.
Because he was
But
hanging
red
outside
button.
of a church on his parachute. It got
Oh,
caught, yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
That was a true story.
Hmm.
He was one of the main characters.
Nice.
Have you ever watched Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that he did because we watched it together one week when I was hungover. You know how long my hangovers last? That's interesting. A week, yeah. So we watched that together when I was hungover one week.
So you know that there's a new one that they're coming out with, right?
No.
Yeah.
Do tell.
So you had Band of Brothers, then you had the Pacific, and
The Pacific wasn't as good.
The Pacific was a lot darker, and I feel like the characters in
not as highly developed.
Well, and you know, I mean, hey, it's just true stories, so it's like
That's fine, but I don't think the direction was as good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you, but so they're coming out with I think it either just came out or is just about to drop. There's a new one focusing on a new group of people in the same series.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So is it going to be in the Pacific or the European theater?
I think it's European. I forget.
Is Tom Hanks involved with it?
I believe he's an executive producer.
Okay, because I think that's really what made those movies. I don't know why, but I feel like if you look at Saving Private Ryan, which vets will say storming in Normandy and Saving Private Ryan, most realistic war scene ever created.
Well, that's how Band of Brothers happened, is because Tom Cruise wanted to do it right. Tom Hanks, yeah, sorry. He wanted to do it right, so he talked to the guys from Easy Company. And that's when he sat there like midway through production on Saving Private Ryan. He was like, I need to do something that's about you guys that isn't a fictional story, because so that's actually how Band of Brothers
Now that
happened.
book was already written.
Yeah.
It was With the Old Breed, I think it's called, or something like that.
Something like that. Or but I forget what the book itself was called, but it was written by the main character.
It's not by Winters.
No,
I don't think it's by Winters.
No, I think it was Winters.
I don't think that book's by Winters. You want to look it up?
Yeah, sure. Hold up.
Yeah. I think the book is called With the Old Breed. See who the author is on that. I like how he doesn't take my advice at all on how to look things up. We're sending you to Jamie school. Jamie, please teach my producer. Wait a second. What? Consultant. Citizen soldiers. Oh, Jesus. So is With the Old Breed, is that from the Pacific? Maybe that's the basis of the Pacific. Oh, I was wrong. My bad.
But yeah, so it looks like Stephen Ambrose.
All right.
But it was about Easy Company.
Right. But it definitely wasn't Winters. I know that. Because Winters, you know how I knew that? It was just contextualization from watching it. Winters is, you know how they interview all the vets before each episode? Winters was almost never you can tell he's a very private person, and you just get that feeling about him. It's like, that's not the guy that wrote the book.
But I think that the guy who wrote the book, Ambrose, I believe, and I could be wrong about this, but I do believe that his conversations with Winters are what led him to looking into all of Easy Company, and that's where...
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I can see Winters doing a one-on-one, but I'm surprised they even got Winters to do one interview.
Oh, yeah, he's a very reserved guy.
Obviously. Yeah, like, really just, I did what I had to do, and now I'm back living a life. I don't want to revisit that.
Yeah, what a great fucking series.
He does not consider that his glory days.
No, he considers it a dark stain on his time, but his friendships...
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But aside from that one guy who had all the rumors spread about him, I forget, Spears. Aside from Spears...
Fucking Spears.
Aside from Spears, Winters was the most interesting character in that whole fucking thing. Like, his development and being promoted through the ranks, and then wanting to jump back into combat, even though he was a general at that point, and the lieutenant had... Get the fuck back here. That is not your place. Get the fuck back. And he's like, Spears! Get in there! And then Spears increases his legend by running across the line to get two factions in communication, and then runs back It doesn't take a single bullet.
That's
one of the most amazing scenes from that fucking show.
Well, and the funny thing is like, you don't realize how pivotal of a role Spears is going to play in it until that episode. Because Spears wasn't part of Easy Company at the time.
No, but I think there was a tremendous amount of foreshadowing where...
The thing with the cigarettes.
The thing with the cigarettes and the prisoners. Where the guy's walking away and then he just hears gunfire.
And after he had this whole kind of like, oh shit, because he realizes
You're he just gunned down a bunch of German prisoners. That's the rumor.
It wasn't even that. It was that beautiful juxtaposition of the fact that the guy's walking by and the guy asks him for a cigarette in English. And he's like, well, where the fuck are you from?
He was American, yeah.
He realizes they're from the same town.
He was an American.
And that his family, because they were German born, took the call
back to the
from
fatherland.
The Reich back to the fatherland. And so here's a guy who was born and raised in America fighting for the Nazis. And then Spears shows up and offers them the cigarette. And the guy was like, oh, that was a really interesting and humanizing interaction. And blah, 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 blah.
And then all of a sudden you hear machine gun fire.
Nah.
So that's one of the main reasons why I don't think Donald Trump can ever become a dictator. You're not going to have people who exiled themselves from America being like, I'm being called back to the fatherland. I'm being called back to Cheeto land. Where's Frito-Lay? Where's the factory? And we're gonna pick up our arms and we're gonna get the bugs out of the Cheetos. Did you know that they're making Cheetos with insects now? They call it by a different name. Harry was onto it. Crickets.
Yeah, crickets.
They use it in the flour already. They didn't tell you.
Do you remember that we ate bugs?
No.
You don't remember that. So our great uncle did business in Indonesia, and he came back at one point with a box full of chocolate covered ants.
We ate them?
Yeah, and we ate them.
Oh, okay.
Because he didn't tell us that they were chocolate covered ants before we ate them.
Yeah, he had a shitty sense of humor.
Well, but the whole thing is that like it almost tasted like chocolate covered Rice Krispies, kinda.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, by the way, those are insects.
Yeah. But they're already putting crickets into the flour that they use to make Cheetos, and the Great White Hunter. Can we call it the Great White Huntress? Huntress. Okay. The Great White Huntress.
Fair enough.
I think that's funnier. And she does identify still as a wood witch. I'm sorry, female. The Great White Huntress loves Cheetos.
Yeah, I know.
And then we introduced her to The Fact. And she was like, so I watched your podcast and I looked it up and you're right. And I've been eating bugs for a long time now. And I was like, yep, yes, you have.
So I need you to tell me this story about what you think is going on with Cheetos.
They grind up crickets and they use it to put it in the flour.
Do you know how Cheetos are made and why Cheetos got invented? Because I actually know that.
Probably
so they may have changed.
Probably a Kellogg thing to lower the libido of the American populace.
So
I'm assuming that's
no. So Cheetos are actually the end result of Are you familiar with Marmite?
Mm-hmm.
So Marmite is this thing that's very popular in certain like British English countries that's most people find disgusting. But it's a natural byproduct of brewing beer.
Mm.
Cheetos are a natural byproduct of processing corn.
Mm.
It's just this thing that
corn puffs.
Yeah, it's this thing that comes out of the machine
that they can make crispy puffs out of.
Well, it's a thing that just by a different process that they're using.
I get it.
Yeah,
comes out of the machine as a waste product,
and they decided to sell.
And they can make crunchy puffs out of it.
So I don't get how bugs are getting involved. That's my point.
Look it up. She looked it up. And you're right.
That's weird to me. Like, why would they be involving bugs in a food product that is already made as a waste product of another food?
I think it's just because they want to fuck with you. I think they
it makes me feel like it's incredible.
I think they get their jollies. Yeah, incredible as far as not being credible. Yeah, but I think they just get their jollies by being like, hey, most people unwittingly are now eating bugs.
You're a guinea pig.
Yeah.
But here's my thing is like, so by that logic, if I pooped chocolate chip cookie dough,
right,
and then I'm just pooping it. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I create a process by which bugs made the chocolate chip cookie dough?
Now, here's the thing. You shit clean cookie dough.
Yeah.
In this scenario.
Absolutely sterile.
Absolutely
Delicious.
sterile and delicious. And people can eat it directly from your ass, and they will enjoy it, and they'll be fine.
Exactly.
The difference is, do they enjoy it, or is it considered to be disgusting?
Oh, they enjoy it.
They enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, then there would be nothing to be had. But
so why would I make it with bugs?
Well, because people generally in our hemisphere consider eating insects to be disgusting, and I think they're just getting a good laugh out of it.
That's such a like I get that this is all that's the thing that makes it not credible to me is like I already know that Cheetos are something that happens naturally from processing a different type of food. Why would bugs get involved?
Well, maybe it's going into the original process.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't feel like researching that right now, but that sounds absolutely batshit to me.
I want to believe that the virus that most people call the elites
most people now everybody spread it. Spread the virus.
Wants us to spread the virus. They are not the elite. They are the virus. Spread the virus. Eat the rich. I think that they. I want to believe that they want us to eat bugs for their own amusement because I think that's funny. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and believe. Not to be outraged about. And I understand that the reason why the narrative is pushed is because it's outrage fodder. I get it. I want to believe it because I think it's funny.
Yeah, I get you there.
And that's where there's a little dislocation between you and me. You seem to be very hung up on facts. Okay? I get hung up on what's amusing me right now. Now, when you go down a YouTube rabbit hole or an internet rabbit hole, you'll be a little drunk, just like we all are, and you'll be like, I can't quite go to sleep yet, but I know I should. And you'll go on Wikipedia. And you'd be like, oh, these facts are interesting. I can use these in arguments. And then you watch a few YouTube videos and you'd be like, these facts are interesting. I can use these. Let me see if these facts are true. And you'll go back to Wikipedia and you'll re-look up the same facts to make sure they're true. And then if you can't verify something between the two sources, you'll look up like AP articles from 10 years ago and you'll see if there's like a line, a chain of command, a paper trail to verify whether or not these facts are true. Here's what I do when I go down an internet rabbit hole. That looks funny. Let's see where that goes. I'm not interested in what's true. I'm interested in what people believe. I don't care what's true. I don't care if you're eating bugs. I choose to believe it because it makes me laugh and it gets my dick hard and I need to jerk off in order to go to sleep at night. That's why I do it that way. And that's a healthier way to do it.
When I get drunk, I go on YouTube and internet rabbit holes where I just sit there and I find things that make me feel so deeply that I start to weep and then watch them again because they didn't hurt me enough. I think you're really mischaracterizing what I do when I'm drunk.
That's so sad. That's so darkly sad. That's true. I know it's true. Like, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, fuck, he's being so sincerely, tenderly, vulnerably honest right now. Not the time nor the place, my friend. Oh, you poor boy. That's terrible.
I get drunk and go to take a shower while listening to A Warm Place by Nine Inch Nails over and over
All right,
again.
now that's hyperbole. But the first thing I can tell, that's actually what you
No, I actually did that.
Oh, man, way to make my dick soft.
It's my goal in life.
Harry, my dick is so soft right now.
I don't think he wants to hear that.
Well, yeah,
we're friends.
Get horny goat weed.
All right, I'll get horny goat weed.
We've got some nutraceuticals that we're going to hawk later that'll help you out.
Good point.
There's not many pretty girls up here that going to get your attention.
Can we talk about that for a second? Is that sexist, or is that okay to talk about for a second?
So all I've got to
He's
say...
right. Go ahead. I preface this with whatever face-saving maneuver you want to spin on my misogynist propaganda.
Have you ever been to Cincinnati?
No. So what you're saying is this isn't the worst. Okay. So since I've moved up here from New Jersey, which is where like all the 6s and 7s hang out, all right, the 9s and 10s, they're all in New York City, okay, on this coast.
No,
on this coast.
Nope, they're in New Jersey, Hoboken.
Hoboken, fair enough. That's basically New York at this point.
Yeah.
So since I have moved here, let me mute my phone. Sorry about that. Since I have moved here, you know how we had that whole discussion a few episodes ago about why are there no good bagel places and pizza places in this area of Pennsyltucky?
I forgot to buy you a bagel. No, I'm absolutely serious.
You were going to buy me a decent bagel?
I was going to bring you a bagel today, and I totally fucking forgot to stop for it. I apologize.
No, that's okay. That would have been like an exploding asshole.
Like I was literally going to just hand it to you at the beginning of the last episode.
So... I don't know. Now, I know that Jews make bagels. And we had the whole conversation about the water content. That might be a part of it. And I know that Italians made pizza. And there was another conversation about the water content, and that may be a part of it. Who the fuck makes pretty girls, and how do we get them over here? There ain't none. I have seen, excuse me, one attractive girl... woman, whatever. She was in her late 20s, younger than me. Since I've been here, walking out of the dollar store, so it was totally, which is where, hey, when you're in Pennsyltucky, that's where you go to buy your groceries and shit. Walking out of the dollar store, like 5'8", blonde curly hair, beautiful aquiline features, slender shoulders, wide hips, in shape. And I was like, where did you come from? You goddess. Like in New York City, she would have been like a 7, but here she's like a 15. Like who makes those? So we need to get Jews and Italians over here. Who makes pretty girls? Who do we need to get over here? And get them to fuck a lot more.
I feel like that's too subjective. Just because, I mean, you know who makes pretty girls? Those sex doll manufacturers in Japan.
No, well, okay, I am talking about flesh and blood ones that are actually, at this point, going to walk up and go shopping so I can look at them. I don't even want to date them! I don't want to have anything to do with them.
That's good, because I don't want anything to do with you, judging by how you're talking.
Dude, around here, she might have been a 15. Around here, hate to say it, I'm a 10. Okay? Hate to say it, but I'm the best thing she's got going. So, it's true, right? I mean, nobody's good looking around here. I mean, the guys are fucking fugly, too. So, who do we have to get up here to fuck?
Centaurs? I don't know.
Good looking people come from centaurs?
Hey!
Does it have anything to do with the water? Like bagels and pizza? Do we need to get Brooklyn water up here?
I have nowhere to go with that. I don't know.
It's just a thought. It's starting to get irritating. I don't want to have anything to do with them. I just want to look at them. That's all I want. I just want to look in front of my face,
I believe,
once in a while, and not see total ugliness.
I believe that the word you're looking for there is not look, it's leer. And I feel like they're not going to be happy about it. So I don't think they're coming here to help you out with that.
I'll apologize afterward. I'm not going to fucking touch them. I just want to look. I just want to look in front of my face and not see total destitute ugliness every second of every day.
Have you considered bestiality?
Yeah, all cats are cute. Good point. That's the best.
I went off the rails.
I gotta say, this is the 20th episode I think that we've done. This is episode number 20, guys. That's the best point that Talking Head has brought up the entire history of this podcast. Have you considered bestiality? You're right. All cats are cute. Good point.
Yeah.
Now, we used to have like 15 cats on the compound. Now we're down to how many?
2.
2. So I think Harry took advantage of that.
I think they just started a fight club by themselves.
Maybe. But didn't you fuck them to death because they were the best looking thing out there? I think you told me that once.
They went in the pot.
He ate them because they were the best looking thing out there. Same reason. Different ends, same means.
We're all beautiful on the inside.
You skin them, they look like a squirrel.
We're all beautiful on the inside. So, yes, I just want...
meat, protein.
They're just protein, and it's good-looking protein. So I want to invite all of the centaurs, Jews, and Italians to come out to Pike County, fuck each other, make food, I don't know, whatever you guys do that makes an area vital and interesting that we don't have out here. We need you. And I am neither a centaur, nor Jewish, nor Italian. I can't help, but I can tell the value that you give to our society, and we need you out here.
He's requesting a large influx of immigrants.
Correct. Oh, absolutely. From New Jersey. So it's not really, but yeah, kind of. We're not going to build a wall between New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
You never know in this day and age. People are so fucked up.
You know, it might get to that point. Dude, so
the amount of people calling for secession, Jesus Christ.
So what's going on with that? Because I heard Texas was talking about that. Are other states talking about that as well? Now, Texas can, but other states literally, legally cannot. It would be a show of force. So what's going on with that?
So I don't know about that whole Texas law. I had heard about this in passing.
Because they are a republic. They reserve the right during the ratification of the United States in order to secede from the nation if they had a majority vote within the state. I'm pretty sure that's the way that works. But no other state has that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like, I don't know if that's a law you can enforce.
Without force. So what other states are calling for secession now?
Oh, it's groups and states. It's not like whole states, obviously.
Is it Jews and Italians and centaurs?
I think they're all comfortable with their lives in the United States at this point. I don't know where you want me to go with any of this.
We need them to secede so we know where to move to. I want to move where there are good-looking people, tasty pizza, and excellent bagels. And whatever states secede, if those are the groups that want to secede, I would know where to go.
See, I'd settle for good-looking pizza, tasty people, and excellent
and excellent bagels. Of course, excellent bagels. That's just the only word for that. No, that makes sense. I'm all for that too. When the zombie apocalypse strikes, you're gonna want the tastiest people you can have, and the pizza has to look good.
So to get off of this incredibly fucked up tangent.
I thought I was making some good points.
Very salient. But,
Thank you.
But I started watching an anime recently called Zom 100.
Okay.
And I cannot recommend it enough to you specifically, but to people in general.
Okay.
So Zom 100 is the story of a guy who works for an exploitative corporation.
Okay.
And then the zombie apocalypse happens.
Is this like the Umbrella Corp with the movie with that supermodel was in?
Mila Jovovich and Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, right? Is this like that?
It's not like that. So it's a comedy that's about this guy whose life is so shitty that when the zombie apocalypse happens, he feels absolutely free. And so they even in the artwork, they sit there and they like the zombie blood is like rainbow colored and shit when it like splats everywhere because go
ahead.
Why are you rolling your eyes?
I'm rolling my eyes because I think that's the way that most Americans see civilization at this point. Like this motherfucker right here that wants it to end if it ended in a zombie apocalypse, he'd be shitting his pants with joy. Me too, because it's gotten so bad that the destruction of the whole fucking thing seems to be appropriate thing to root for. That's why I'm rolling my eyes. It's not what you're saying.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay.
I'm rolling my eyes because you're
I
like,
gotcha.
this is weird. And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not weird. It makes perfect sense. That's
Makes
why I love
perfect
the show,
sense.
because
Yeah,
it
go
makes
ahead.
perfect sense.
Yeah. That's why I'm rolling my eyes. Go ahead.
So he sits there, and the reason why it's called Zom 100 is the subtitle is Bucket List of the Dead. And so basically, because he realizes that civilization has completely ended, he writes a list of 100 things I want to do before I become a zombie. And he starts doing them. And that's the whole show, is just him having fun in the zombie apocalypse.
It's kind of
doing
like
shit.
About Schmidt, except it's the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, like
version.
doing stuff that he like never would have had the guts to do, but now
Except
that
now it's the end of the
world's over,
world.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like,
I think people are so repressed at this point that that's the way they're looking at civilization. If shit hits a fan, I get to do everything that I've wanted to do, because civilization and society is so repressive to the individual that that's the only way out.
So now here's the
It's the
question:
only way to express yourself.
since we know somebody who's actively hoping for the apocalypse,
Two people, one sitting across from us.
Oh no, I hear you, but I think he wants it for different reasons. Like,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wait. Hang on.
No.
Hang on, Harry. We're gonna get to that.
So my question is like, what do you think she's rooting for? Like, how is that a boon for her?
Okay. I'm trying to think of a way to make this funny, but I know the real answer, so that keeps clouding over.
Oh, the whole like,
inebriated consciousness.
Once it ends, yeah.
No.
Oh, really? Because I thought you were going religious with it.
No, this was funny. She wants the world to end before she dies, so she can see everybody's reaction to the fact that she's proven right.
Okay, so it's vindication.
I got her to admit it's vindication. For Harry?
So Harry, why do you want that?
It's not vindication. He sees, correct me if I'm wrong, but you see the system is so corrupt, you just want to see it destroyed.
Bring it down and start all over again.
There
Let's
we
go back to what it's really supposed to be. We're not a democracy. We're supposed to be a republic.
Right.
And that's what it was. But that's why this country screwed up.
Well,
So Harry and I have had conversations about why, because I found it fascinating that I know two people
who just are actively supporting the end
that
of the world.
want the end of the world. So first person I went to is the Great White Huntress, and I got it out of her. It took a little work, but I got it out of her. It ended up being...
Well, because she had to think about it herself, I'm sure.
Maybe. It ended up being vindication. And Harry, it actually took me a while to wrap my head around his thoughts, because his thought is so foreign to where I was coming from, but I think I got it. You just hate the corruption in the system so much, you don't see another way to change it except for it being destroyed and rebuilt.
There's no way but destruction. Yeah.
So I think his is noble. The other one I also find very noble. The Great White Huntress saying she wants to be vindicated. I think that's also a noble pursuit. I don't see anything wrong about that.
I'm not coming down on her about that
Don't
at
you
all.
people understand that you're fucking shit up so bad that it's inevitable? Like, you could come from it from that perspective. I was right. Here you go. Eat your own shit.
But the funny thing is that to me, that perspective is particularly humorous, because it's also, I'm eating this shit with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like
Well, I brought this up in another podcast. I feel like I'm kind of like, my mind state, where I'm coming from, is halfway creating the civilization that we're forced to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I call it, in the previous podcast, half-baked bread.
Yeah.
So it's fun when it's dough, you can make shapes out of it, and it's fun when it's fully baked.
Because you can eat it.
Because you can eat it, but
And
right
it's-
now
yeah.
we're at a stage where it's kind of in between. But
It's like playing with dried up Play-Doh.
Exactly. My perspective is exactly that. It's exactly the same thing as what you're saying.
Oh, I don't revel in the current situation. There's nothing for me to get out of it, and that's why.
But I'm all for it. It has to happen.
No, I'm saying the current civilization, not the downfall. I'm saying there's nothing I revel about in the current civilization.
At its peak?
No, the current state of civilization.
Yeah, but we're halfway through the downfall.
We're not at the peak. The peak happened in the Matrix.
the peak of our civilization happened in the 1950s. What I'm talking about is the way things are right now. That's halfway through the downfall, right? That's you don't
No,
when you're saying I don't
you.
revel in anything about our civilization. You're talking about the downfall of our civilization.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
talking about the ideal. The ideal.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I get where you're going. No.
Okay.
Yeah. But the funny thing was that there was somebody who made a joke about how the Matrix was right. It was like a meme that I saw, and it was like, oh no, yeah, the Matrix was absolutely right. Civilization did peak in 1991 or whatever the fuck it was, or 1999 or whatever, because it's like right before 9/11, right before like right before the financial crisis, the
Holy
house
shit.
bubble, yeah.
Yeah. 9/11, 2001, housing bubble, 2008. 2009.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, oh my god,
Right
the
on.
Matrix was fucking right.
Right on. Show me that video. Send it to me on. I want to fucking watch that shit. I
I
want to
think
get.
it was just a meme. I don't think it was. I think it was
okay.
just an image.
You know what sucks about memes? I love memes, but you cannot give credit to the creator.
Because it's always so difficult to
But that's what a
tell.
meme is.
Yeah.
So I get.
It's ours, it's not theirs. Yeah.
I get why it's important and how it works, but I would love to be just a thumbs up. Hey man, you see shit the way I see it. Your eyes, the scales have fallen from your eyes. You have wit enough to cut through the bullshit. Congratulate. Good job. Just let me give you a thumbs up. I would love if there was like something that you could do that.
There's actually a website, I believe. I forget what it's called, unfortunately, so I can't plug it for everybody. But there is I think it's called Know Your Meme.
For all the 60 people that are watching.
Well,
is there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like if you go to the website Know
Like
Your
if they've
Meme,
proven one, they'll give it to you on a list?
yeah, so if they know, it just tells the origin of memes, where it came first, who popularized it, etc. It popularized it, etc. etc.
Okay. But do they give credit to the creator?
Yeah, they specifically bring up the first recorded instance because they use the Wayback Machine. Are you familiar with the Wayback Machine?
Yes. Yeah.
So they use the Wayback Machine to find out where memes came from, give credit to the originator, and then 9 times out of 10, you also have to give credit to who popularized it.
Right.
Because usually the originator is not the person that it took off.
Yeah, they
from.
put it they released it into the zeitgeist.
Into the ether.
Yeah, and then other people pulled it into the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
To use a Q metaphor.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Know Your Meme.
Cool. Yeah, you got to send me that link. That sounds interesting because I did look up what's it called? Zeppy the Frog.
Yeah, which is turned into a super racist thing.
Oh, dude, has it? But the way it started out, totally innocuous. And that weird looking guy
originator
that's
of it,
like
yeah.
this, that's like a stupid sketch line drawing.
Yeah.
Super racist. Yeah, same fucking
Like,
thing.
it gets adopted by the worst people.
Memes?
Yeah.
They're not the worst people. They're people that are cutting through the nonsense by using humor to galvanize populist thought. People don't actually believe in what the memes are saying. They're using it to make fun of, and I don't mean to use this.
Well, like the
I don't mean to use this term in any sort of malfeasant way, but in order to trump the programming, they're using this type of humor. It's satanic. What they're doing. What they're doing is satanic. They're not drawing a hard line and saying this is logical and this is not. What they're doing is they're just shitting over the line, stomping across it, and putting themselves in a new camp as far from what the other camp is across the line as possible in order to create a polarization. And that can be healthy for civilization when it's not used in order to, once again, don't mean to use this term this way, trump up the powers that be. If you're not using it for that, but if you are using that type of logic to, and I hate this phrase too, speak truth to power, it does have a use in social evolution.
Well, but that's my whole thing. Is like it's funny how it always ends up matriculating to the worst people using it for the.
They're not the worst people. They're the people that feel freest to use it that way.
Yeah, because
like for example, when the Church of Satan was getting its footing in the 1980s, right before the PC movement took over in the 90s.
I thought they were at their most powerful in the early 70s, but anyway, go on.
I don't think so. I would say that the height of their power was the Satanic Panic. Because that was...
No, I got you, because that's where
the polarization of the movement. So you had the introduction into the zeitgeist of a real satanic politic in the 1960s. In 1975, Anton LaVey shut off the church at large.
Yeah, the actual structure.
In his philosophy, there's push-pull magically. So you push. In the 60s, he pushed the propaganda of the Church of Satan. And in 1975, he pulled hardcore. We're going to remain silent and see what happens. Let the yeast that we put into the bread, let's see what grows out of it. And then in the 80s, we had the Satanic Panic.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I want to point out, because I was thinking about it earlier, bugs in Cheetos, if that's a real thing. Yeast is bacteria in fucking bread. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, it is. So, probably is. But anyway...
I was bringing up people being disgusted by, there's bugs in my Cheetos. It's like, there's fucking bacteria in your bread. Anyway.
I don't want to eat bugs, and I feel like I should have a choice whether or not to eat bugs.
Sure, gotcha. Go on.
If you want to eat bugs, eat bugs.
I was bringing it up as a
I think that if it's underhanded, that's fucked up.
Nah, I gotcha.
That's just my opinion. So in the...
Push-pull, Satanic Panic...
Right. So where was I going with that? What were we talking about before I brought up the Church of Satan?
The meme culture and the fact that it was being galvanized in certain ways toward racism.
So in the late 80s, early 90s, a lot of the stuff that Satanists were putting out were very anti-PC. On purpose. Like, there was one concert...
It's provocation.
There was one concert that was being given in Philadelphia, if I remember correctly. The name of the concert that had a bunch of satanic bands and artists that were showing their work and performing in this one venue, it was called Fuck You America, Violence Against Women. Now, dude, it's obvious. That's obvious.
Sure.
Okay, so, but it's not that... I don't think with meme culture, the worst people are using this force. It's just people that understand that most people are fucking stupid and they're going to be polarized. Let's use that energy. That's what sorcerers do.
I'm going to push back on you on that.
Please.
And the way that I'm pushing back on you with that is I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, if you were to create an art show that's called Fuck Babies Until They're Dead. Like,
which I think
Leba maybe. I don't know.
No. I mean the comedian. Who's the comedian that's very deadpan that just makes a bunch of dead baby jokes?
Oh,
they're like basically like four-liners.
He's really good at it too. Jill is it's something with a ski at the end.
I know he's really good at it. Okay, it's fine.
Shit. We'll look that up later or whatever. You can like put it in.
I might put it in post. Yeah. He doesn't need my help.
Yeah, but so here's where art imitates art, imitates life, imitates art, imitates life, imitates art, imitates life starts.
You're very concerned about altering people's perceptions, and that's what I wanted to get to. So I think that's where you're going. So go ahead.
Okay.
Give me your opinion.
So the funny thing is that I think that it starts like that, and then it turns into a late breed of that thing where they don't realize the joke.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what's terrifying to me is the people who see that stuff.
That's the purpose.
I understand that it's the purpose, but like, okay, so like if that's what you're building, what's your end game? I guess not you, like the greater you know.
Sure, evolve or die.
Does that work? I feel like it's not working.
Why?
Because with like meme culture, which is what we were talking about, it's like you have something that starts off innocuous, turns into a racist symbol as a joke, then turns into a real racist symbol, and then rallies people. Turns into a dog whistle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's not like, isn't that failing the initial purpose? It would be like, well, so what about, Chappelle Show, where he started worrying that like people were laughing at it for the wrong reason, and that's why he killed it.
That's part of the reason why he killed it. Good.
isn't that meme culture at this point?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so okay. I don't know where to roll out from there because, like, so hasn't it become a detriment at that point?
No.
How so?
Because you have to have a conflict between ideologues before people can evolve.
Okay, so from that ideological standpoint, I understand that, but these people...
If you're stupid enough to get drawn into battle, you're going to be drawn into battle to the point where you see that battle is such an unfavorable and such a useless and futile way to expend your energy, you're going to have to rethink yourself. And that's the only way to make people evolve is to put them into a very uncomfortable or to allow themselves to put themselves into an extremely uncomfortable situation.
But isn't this galvanizing them to not allow themselves to feel uncomfortable? Because I have millions of people on my side. So you don't think that's what's happening? Because I feel like that's what's happening.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, do you feel more comfortable if you have a tribe? Like Harry and I always talk about it. If you have a tribe, do you feel more comfortable right now in our current political soup than if you don't have a tribe? Arguably. I don't have one, and you do have one. But I have to a certain extent. I do not have any way of measuring who feels more comfortable. What I do know is that the perception behind that mechanism is we need to make the monkeys fight each other until they realize that they need to evolve. It's a very occult mechanistic.
Do you not feel like that's been co-opted though? Because I agree with you that's how it started.
It's totally been co-opted.
But that was my point that I was trying to drive at.
It's only been co-opted factionally. You can't co-opt that entire because it's a natural principle. It's a principle of nature, so you can't co-opt. You can't weaponize the entire thing. If people end up in shitty situations because of their ideology and the way they think and perceive the world, exposing them more to the shitty situation that they're creating on a long enough timeline can only cause them to evolve or destroy themselves. It can't be weaponized to such an extent that somebody can completely co-opt that energy. Because it's a natural principle, and co-opting energy is always artificial. And artificiality will never take the place of natural processes.
So, as a pure thought experiment...
This is an interesting conversation. Thank you for taking me down this rabbit hole. I like this. This is good. So, Harry, if you want to jump in, jump in.
All I know is you only grade by the amount of enemies you have.
Mm-hmm.
You could count your enemies, and now you know you're getting your point across.
Right.
And you have your enemy.
And sympathizers. It's a polarization of energy. Sure. Yeah, good point.
And I'll agree with that. Like, the entire thing is to me... So it's a tool, in my mind.
Mm-hmm. This was part of the... This was a secondary thought to the Dada movement, which is the precursor to modern art. So the Dada movement was going to say, let's take emotion out of art per se. That way we don't have this mechanism. The opposite of that mechanism the opposite of that mechanism is to create things that are hyper emotional in order to create polarization, so that either the best will out, there is total destruction, or people have to evolve. Generally speaking, and I'm a misanthropist, generally speaking, if I look at the historical record and I place my own opinion upon it, and I realize this is kind of where I'm an optimist, I think when people are faced with something like that, they generally come out ahead, but it's not until they have to.
I will agree with you that they generally have to reach a breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I understand the dynamics and the philosophy involved in what you're talking about right now.
Good.
The thing that throws me off about it is that, again, crimes of opportunity, there's a way to manipulate that energy that corrupts it.
And
it's the same concept as like, well, communism would be perfect if you could have a perfect communist leader. Democracy can be perfect if you have a perfect democratic body. you know, and I feel like the meme culture thing has started going into that corruption phase because people have realized the power and the galvanization and the polarization that's going on. And the funniest thing is they're not exploiting it for power. They're exploiting it for money. Now, and then the people who realize there's... No, I gotcha. Okay. I'm about to say... So, but the funny thing is the people who know that money in the current system is power have started manipulating the money for power. And it's fascinating to watch it burn in this specific way. It's like...
it's burning, yeah.
And to me, it's almost like when you sit there and like... You're familiar with the concept of controlled burn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that it fascinates and kind of terrifies me about it is I feel like this is a controlled burn that has been co-opted.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's part of the flame, though.
Yeah,
you can't have a controlled burn without a certain amount of weaponization from corrupted parties.
But that's the funny thing.
But I'm not saying it's pre-thought. I'm saying this is the way the mechanism operates.
I gotcha.
There's no one person or group of people that are being like, this is going to be cool.
It's just people deciding where to fan the flames, and then it's just going out of
it's
control
also,
of all of them because they're all fanning it in different directions.
No, it's a systemic part of the human condition in the system that we've set up. So we already said that a systemic corruption within the system is inevitable because the most brutal sociopathic and psychopathic
always
of us
rise to the top,
end up rising to the top, becoming leaders. This is what is in the Matrix, where the Oracle is saying, well, what's his purpose? To balance the equation. What's your purpose? To unbalance it. This is the unbalancing mechanism. This is a natural phenomenon. Nobody's pre-planning this. I am looking at it as an occultist and as a sorcerer. I'm telling you what I see. I'm not saying anybody's planning to do this. Nobody planned on Pepe the Frog being a dog whistle for racism. And nowadays it's not so much a dog whistle, it's an actual whistle. But what inevitably ends up happening is if you have these things that are obviously meant to be funny in the human milieu, and then they end up becoming weaponized by powers that are obviously corrupt and trying to draw power to themselves, the general human population, at least their subconscious, will pick up on that, and they will evolve just a little bit. Just a little bit. They'll know just a little bit, just like during a pandemic, just like during Trump's administration. Their subconscious is going to pick up on it just a little bit. That's where the corruption lies. There it is. They're not going to think through it. Just a little bit. Now I see oh, no, I don't quite trust that person. I don't know why. It leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I don't know why. There's the corruption. There it is. There it is.
Do you feel like the corruption itself, and I have to use the restroom, so I'll give you a second to think about it.
Me too.
Okay. So do you feel like, because here's my view on it, is I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with what you're saying.
I know, it's a good thought. I'm smart.
Kudos. But the question is when that corruption takes hold, is it incumbent on people who are trying to move things forward to fight that corruption or embrace it? Because is the quickest way out through.
Which of those options do you feel like speaks to your soul more?
Because, well, we'll leave it at that for right now, and then we'll come back in a moment.
Either way, you're helping. That's my point. But yeah, I'd like you to answer that. So let's take a piss. All right, cool. Good conversation.
I think I caught up with you guys.
You know, are you drunk?
No.
Yeah, that was the tone of a drunk when he's lying.
No, but I'm feeling good.
So we're back recording. I just wanted to sit there and
yeah.
We don't have to start right this second.
I love that Harry's fucking drunk. That's great.
Move your microphone in though.
Yeah, and get your headphones on. You gotta put your headphones on.
I will.
It's gonna pick up in the mic. Yeah, they're surprisingly loud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're good headphones.
Decent.
Well, you know what I mean. Good for the price.
I think I got those for like $190 or something.
Yeah, obviously, like if you had the money, I'd recommend like $500 Bose headphones.
Yeah, of course. All right, you can pick up.
But yeah, so that's the interesting question about the whole situation, is because if it needs to be broken to move on, then does it make more sense to help break it? But it's like it's difficult.
It doesn't.
If you have a certain mind space or morality about certain issues, because it's hard to agree to let something die, particularly if you're somebody who likes to fight for something. You know what I mean?
It's sure. To the want to fight, the need to fulfill the hero or the messiah role, rather than the villain or the architect role.
Well, Dagny Taggart in Atlas Shrugged.
Mm-hmm. No, I gotcha. You know, it's. I think it's a matter of whichever one speaks to you more. Whichever one. Tessa Reid uses this word a lot, and I'm losing the word. It's resonate. Whichever one resonates with you, do that. You're still feeding the beast. It's the same beast. So so. Do you need to see shit burn before it gets rebuilt? Not necessarily, but you do need to have hyperpolarization. So the way that this mechanism works, people can obviously go through destruction and have to rebuild. And that's the end game.
And I feel like we all do that on a personal level if we're introspective enough.
Sure. That's a very occult and alchemical process that's called solve et coagula. Dissolve and bring back together. That's a personal spiritual process in order to recreate yourself as an enlightened being that is true to itself, rather than being an amalgamation of programming that the world puts into you. Take all those things apart, observe them, burn the ones that are no longer necessary, or learn how to repurpose them, and then bring yourself back together. That's essentially what I feel like memetics, memes, and society is going through at this point. Now, does it have to get to the point of destruct? No. People can stop it at any point. But this goes back to the video that you shared with me last night, where there was a philosophical breakdown of the graphic novel and the movie V for Vendetta. He figures out at the end, it's not my choice. That's built in to memetics. It's not my choice.
Yeah, it's out of my hands at this point. I've just laid the groundwork for change. What the new thing is up to somebody else.
I created Pepe the Frog. Now you use it. And all of the distortions and childishness and monkey games and primate hierarchy structures and hyper competitiveness, all that's going to play into how that meme gets used. But what its end goal is to show people how they're misusing a powerful tool. And hey, when people get to that point of realizing they're misusing it, that there's a better way to go about doing things than what they've been doing, that's up to them. That's not up to me as the creator. And that's what free will is.
So the question ends up being then, if we're thinking about it in like an Atlas Shrugged kind of context, the real...
Well, I haven't been, but I'll try to put my head there.
I'm going to bring up a specific point in the novel.
Okay.
Where the moment where Dagny Taggart's brother, I forget his fucking name, obviously last name's Taggart, but he's there for the process of John Galt being tortured, and the machine breaks down. Do you remember this?
But I'm there.
So the machine breaks down, and they're trying to figure out how to fix it to continue torturing John Galt. And the only person who speaks up on how to fix the machine is John Galt himself. He tells them exactly how to fix the device of his torture.
It's like that old joke about the Jew, the black guy, and the Polak.
Why do you always have to make it racist? But go on.
Because I think it's funny. Nobody else does it anymore. So there's a joke. There's a Jew, a Jew, a black guy, and a Polak, and they're all about to be electrocuted. And you can't re-execute somebody.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So they say, do you have any last words? And the Jew's first. And he goes, I have but one life to give to my country. They throw the switch. Nothing happens. They get the black guy in there. Any last words? I have but one life to give to my country. They throw the switch. Nothing happens. They have to let these guys go. You can't re-execute somebody. It didn't work. Then the Polak comes up and they say, do you have any last words? And he says, Yeah, this thing isn't going to work unless you plug it in.
It's the antithesis of that.
Okay.
Because the context of it is that Dagny Taggart's brother gets filled with existential horror when he realizes what it is that he's trying to kill.
Ah, nice.
Because it's the one guy who can sit there and make things work.
Nice.
And so that was the point of the scene. And he actually, I don't think he's ever heard from again in the novel. He runs off into the night because that revelation was too much for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to realize he was killing the only thing that could sit there and fix everything.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of that this year. I don't know why I think that, but I feel like this year we're going to see a lot of that. The people that actually can fix things, the people that actually can steer things in the right direction, you're going to see a lot of them running off into the night. So I think the human species has to enjoy their last hurrah. This is it. You have to put up or shut up. You have to evolve or die. And you're going to see a lot of the people that could be leaders that you wanted to sacrifice because they said things that were uncomfortable. You're going to see a lot of them heading for the hills. They're not going to want to help you anymore. What was Galt's Gulch in that book?
Sure.
It was the people who headed for the hills.
The people who decided to break the machine of the world by moving away
from it. Get along without us. Now, this is a hyper-capitalist book.
Yes. Because
obviously the
Ayn Rand came up in communist
the
USSR,
way things are turning out in the actual postmodern era, the way things are actually going down, it's not that. It couldn't have been conceived.
And the funny thing is,
it's going to in my opinion, it's about to happen the same way. The people that can actually steer the ship in the right direction, they're heading for the hills and they're about to leave, and everybody else is going to be left to their own devices. You're going to be left to destroy yourselves. Do you want to do that? Or can you face yourself in the mirror? Can you face yourself and see your true value? Can you let your mask drop away from your face and not only see yourself in the mirror the way that you actually are, but present yourself to other people without any lies in your interface? Do you have the ability to do that, or are you too weak? Are you too unsubstantial? Have you been going along with programming too much for too long in order to even know how to begin to initiate that process? It's going to be very interesting.
Well, and I think that that's one of the things that, and the funny, like, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but just as a quick commentary.
You can go deep.
It's super weird to me the way that people, and I understand I'm in the minority, the way that people interpret Atlas Shrugged is very weird to me because I always interpret it a very specific way. And the hyper-capitalist bullshit that, like, because tons of modern capitalists are like, oh yeah, Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but you're, like, to me, the people who are adopting it, it's the same thing with the memes, I guess. It all ties in. The people who are adopting it are people like, she wasn't talking about you.
No.
You're not contributing anything.
Her husband was an artist that made no money.
And she was
for
an
a
artist.
very long time. She made a bunch of money and he didn't. She supported him because she saw his value. Ayn Rand's work is about value. It's about value judgments. It's not about capitalism and it's not about communism. It's about true value judgments and individuality. The main thing that her work about philosophically, in my opinion, and you can retort this
sure
if you want, is about the concept of the individual is more important than the group, or the group is more important than the individual. That's really the philosophical wedge, the crux.
It's a linchpin, yeah.
The linchpin of her work. And she was saying, the individual is more important than the group. A group is simply a collection of individuals. That's the way I see it. It has nothing to do with communism or capitalism. Those are just
influences,
theories of barter. That's all they are.
Well, and they were influences on her because she was seeing those things fight each other.
Sure. And the spice of her books is obviously pro-capitalist and pro-creator and very anti-bureaucracy and government. which is why most people who are on the right, especially 10 years ago, brought her up as a figurehead, a galvanizing figure. But that's the philosophical linchpin of her books has nothing to do with economic theory. That's used as a simile in order to express the true fundamental philosophy of the book. The individual is more important than the group. That's the way I see it.
Well, and her philosophy is objectivism. She wrote an entire philosophical treatises.
She did.
And the thing to me is again, like, using comparatives to bring it back to the memes and everything.
Okay.
I feel like it got misappropriated at some point.
Oh yeah, everything's going to be weaponized.
Yeah, it turned into...
Everything's going to be weaponized.
It's like, oh, well, obviously capitalism is the best. It's like, is Ted Cruz Hank Reardon? Is Donald Trump fucking John Galt?
No.
Like, no,
they're
these
not
are
creators.
people who are abusing these systems.
Correct.
They're the people
The
she's rallying
fascinating thing about
against.
Donald Trump is he admits it. And he's like, hey, if you don't like me abusing the system, cut the loopholes. You guys are corrupt. I'm taking advantage
I'll
of it.
cut the loopholes, and then he makes all the loopholes.
No, he never said he was going to cut the loopholes.
Yeah,
he said
No, he said it in a speech.
No, did he?
Yeah, if he got into office,
All
he would.
Well,
would destroy all the
Dave
tax
Chappelle
loopholes.
brought up when he hosted Saturday Night Live recently, and I'll pause real quick so I can put the clip up. A lot of people
I'm watching the news now. They're declaring the end of the Trump era. Now, okay, I can see how in New York you might believe this is the end of his era. I'm just being honest with you. I live in Ohio amongst the poor whites. A lot of you don't understand why Trump was so popular, but I get it because I hear it every day. He's very loved. And the reason he's loved is because people in Ohio have never seen somebody like him. He's what I call an honest liar. Well, I'm not joking right now. He's an honest liar. That first debate, I'd never seen anything like it. I've never seen a white male billionaire screaming at the top of his lungs, "This whole system is rigged," he said. And across the stage was a white woman, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, sitting over there looking at him like, "No, it's not." I said, "Now, wait a minute, bro. It's what he said." And the moderator said, "Well, Mr. Trump, if in fact the system is rigged, as you suggest, what would be your evidence?" You remember what he said, bro? He said, "I know the system is rigged because I use it." I said, "God damn." And then he pulled out an Illuminati membership card and chopped a line of cocaine up and did it right at the podium.
So in that clip, what he's saying is that, hey, Donald Trump said, if you don't like me using these loopholes,
Close the loopholes.
close the loopholes. The only reason I take advantage of them is because I'm smart. Hot damn. Somebody said it to him. He said it to the American public. Holy shit. Nobody else in power has ever said that to the people before. Yes, the game is rigged. Yes, you are supposed to lose.
And that's why he's so popular.
Exactly.
But the funny thing about it is, so to my memory, and we can look it up at some point if you want, but as far as I remember that speech going, he was like, "I'm the only one who can do it because I understand them." And then the tax code that he wrote in gave billionaires more tax loopholes.
Perhaps. But we were going into memes and how they're going to be weaponized. So yes, they're going to be weaponized. That's part of the mechanism. You have to look at it as a natural, systemic phenomenon.
Well, so
The moment you anthropomorphize a natural, systemic phenomenon, if you say, well, the system is artificial, obviously. It was man-made. But it was man-made with
just like Jesus,
quill pens on parchment, and then it evolved from there. But the structure is artificial. Civilization is artificial. Fine. The way it has evolved from there has been undergone by natural processes. And if you're going to look at something like memetics and you're going to say, well, it's being weaponized, that's part of the systemic structure, just like what the architect talked about in The Matrix. Number two. Ergo, the flaw in the system is exploited, and it is seen as both the beginning and the end. Mr. Anderson, you have two choices. There's a door on your left and a door on the right. The flaw in the system, the fly in the ointment, is choice. So people are being given a choice. It's becoming so obvious to people that there is a weaponization structure behind things like memes, populist uprisings, behind Donald Trump. There's a flaw being exploited in the system, not by anybody, but natural processes. It's systemic in the unbalance of the equation itself. The people that are smart enough to see it, you don't have to be as smart to see it when it gets to this level. Like when shit is really hitting the fan, you don't have to be that smart to see it anymore. When shit first started at the beginning of the pandemic, you had to be pretty fucking smart to see it. You know what I mean? So it's stratification. We're undergoing a period of stratification. It's Darwinism. That's all that's happening. It's the natural evolution of an artificial system.
So to wind it back into using Atlas Shrugged as a metaphor for it, though.
Sure.
Here's the thing where it's like, to me, it's the thing that I always question is Dagny Taggart sits there and understands what John Galt is doing, and she falls in love with him, and she hangs out at Galt's Gulch with him, which he hates it being named Galt's Gulch because it's not his, it's theirs. And very communistic, weird. But I'm just joking.
No, I got you.
But
it was poignant. I got you.
But at the end of it, she decides she has to leave because she's not ready to give up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that
you're not ready to give up.
Well, it's not just me. It's interesting to me as a royal we. Like no, of course I'm never ready to give up. I describe myself as a tank in the role-playing game version of things. I'm the person who just tries to take it on the chin and fucking protect other people and push forward. That's and that's a personification that I've given myself. It's a role that I've assigned to myself,
which I think is apropos. Go ahead.
And the thing to me is at what point do you how do you convince someone? Because for her, it had to be the destruction of everything. It had to be everything falling apart for her to finally relent.
She was the tank.
And so, but for people who aren't that, for people who don't have the desire to fight it, but don't want to attack it, there's this pocket of civilization that I think exists that's in the middle of everything. And you've got the loud people on the one end and the loud people on the other end.
Well, they're the robots.
And there's a bunch of people who are in the middle who are just like,
what the fuck is going on
with this? Not just what's going on.
Well,
what do I do to enact any kind of will or change on this?
Oh, sure. Okay. Choose one side or the other. Whichever one galvanizes your soul or resonates with you better.
Don't.
Create more destruction or try to wake people up. Harry and I think, are on polar opposites of this conversation. We've had this discussion many times. I'm on the side which could be seen as the satanic side.
Yeah, burn it to the ground.
I don't want to see things burn, but I think that's the best way to make people wake up is through. Let's let shit get so ludicrous that only the very stupidest people are actually going to believe what's going on, which seems to be the direction that we're going. And also, like I said before, I don't like playing games I'm going to lose. So that seems to be the way things are going. That's the way I'm going to go.
Well,
now he wants to wake people up, and he's always telling me, we need to have a stronger message in the podcast. What should we talk about? Let's talk about the tax code.
Well, if we're doing D&D roles, he's a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
So his whole thing is that he's not a tank. Like I would be a paladin, which is somebody who's trying to protect everybody.
Sure.
He's somebody
you're taking the shots.
He's somebody who's trying to lash out to let everybody see you can fight too.
Strategically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I am
chaotic neutral warlock.
I'm the enemy. I'm the thing you guys are fighting. No, yeah.
You don't have that kind of power.
No, I don't. I'm saying what I represent.
No, you represent a chaotic neutral warlock, and I'll tell you why. So
is that actually a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So a chaotic neutral warlock is somebody who will do anything that they think is going to make things move in the direction they want them to do, because wait, there's a graph for the two different attributes that you have to a character.
Don't get too
I know
deep here. Okay.
it's quick.
Go.
So you have their moral alignment, and then you have their I forget what the other one's called. The point is, so chaotic neutral would be no laws apply. That's the chaotic part. Because you can have lawful neutral, which is somebody who believes in the laws but doesn't enact them.
Oh, we've talked about that before. Yeah, good.
So then neutral is that you don't have a horse in the game. So the whole thing is you are chaos with no desire for outcome.
Yeah, but what creates action?
That can create action. Any of those archetypes
Just see
can
where
create
things are
action.
going?
Yeah.
No, I want things to go in a specific direction. I want, so truth be told, and Harry, you and I talked about this recently. I do want people to wake up, but I am going to expend 0 of my energy to try to make that happen for several reasons. First of all, it's ineffective. To try to make people wake up, it is seen by people as being elitist. You think you're better than me? You're going to try to save my soul? Fuck you. I'm fine.
Well,
okay, yeah,
it's proselytizing.
You are. It's proselytizing. Yeah. You are. You're fine. You're fine. So keep doing what you're doing. I don't think I'm more enlightened than you. You're doing exactly what you ought to be doing, and I don't think I'm doing exactly what I ought to be doing, but I'm searching for it. So if I am more enlightened, it's because I am still looking for that thing. And that's not me being falsely humble. When I find the thing, I'll tell you, hey, I found the thing.
No, yeah.
And it might be something that other people find distasteful, but I am actively searching, and I'm honestly searching.
And you're willing to I was about to say actively act on it. And you're willing to act on it when you and if you find it.
If I find it, immediately.
Exactly.
With all of my resources, which is what I think is a huge part of what makes me fit the bill of a sorcerer.
Maybe you're neutral evil, I don't know.
Once I find the thing that I want to do, all of my resources will be into that thing. Haven't really found it yet, but I can describe to you the way that I see the mechanism working, and that's all I've tried to do in this conversation. So, neutral, chaotic, okay, yeah, for now, until I find the thing. Once I find the thing, once I see where the pendulum's swinging, it doesn't only swing in 2 directions. There's 360 degrees for this fucking thing to swing on a crux. Once I find the direction it's swinging, all my power's behind that. What little power I have. But you understand, I'm going to identify.
What energy
I'm going to identify.
Commit, yeah.
Because I know what the end result is. Either way, the result is either going to be evolution or death. It doesn't matter which way you take.
Well, they're both death.
A choice is going to be present, which the architect stated succinctly in the second Matrix movie.
Fun of it.
Yeah, I got you. Ergo, the problem is choice. And it's not my choice. The choice is not for the seeing few. The choice is for the blind mass. Well, all that I can do is put my energy behind what makes the choice most present in the minds of the unseeing masses.
And so, I would like to add on to that, to sit there and say that that's the funny thing about choice, is that none of the systems that are in play right now are trying to make you choose anything. What they're trying to make you do is not choose.
Mm-hmm. My memetics makes you choose. That's the way I see memetics. That's the way I see it operating.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that's the problem.
Is it
mechanism?
Is it an innocent frog? Now you have to do a little research to find out how that Pepe the Frog was created. Just a little bit. Just a Google search. But what you're confronted with every time you doom scroll on Twitter or Facebook, or
Twitter is just doom scrolling at this point,
is you're confronted with either racist dog whistling or racist whistling, not even dog whistling. So take that one meme, just a little bit of research to figure out what's actually going on. with how this thing's being manipulated by forces that don't anthropomorphize them, don't turn them into people, don't turn them into intelligent powers. That's not it. It's a mechanism. And it just takes a little research to figure, the slightest bit of research. This year, I think, we're going to get to the end of the year, and it's going to take the minutest amount of research to figure out. It's going to become so obvious. It's going to take the smallest amount of research to figure out where you're being had and where your true power lies. And I think that's where we're going. And that's the point of...
To me, that's more hopeful than where I see it going. Oh, no, I wasn't going to go... I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's going to devolve more. I don't think it's going to be this year.
No, people are... I think people are evolving. I don't think they're devolving. The public conversation is devolving. And that is making people, individuals, evolve. Because the public conversation is largely automated. And it's... Automated, sorry. Well, I meant to say automatons, robots were taking it over.
I get where the syntax.
Okay,
yeah.
It's largely being used for profit centers to gain your attention and to foster your outrage. Once you no longer are concerned with profit centers, and you see people who are wearing masks or using their personalities to create a brand, generally speaking, being dishonest for profit, once those things become so disgusting to the general population, which is largely happening, look at the legacy media.
Sure. Or the alternative media rising up against it. You know?
Sure. A lot of it. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. So it's no longer going to be a commodity. It's going to be a power source. And once you separate commodity from power, once you separate money from power, then the real game begins. And I think that's, in my opinion, if I'm going to put my energy behind anything, and I just came up with this talking to you just now, the separation between money and power, once that comes about, that's when the real game begins. That's when shit gets interesting.
So at what point do you think people will finally stop
and look at themselves?
Well, eating what they're fed and realizing that they're eating themselves.
Well, it's a question like, if you want to be a rebel, here's the prescription. Yeah, at what point? I think, unfortunately, shit has to get really stupid before most people get to that.
I think we all need to end up in a position where we're so uncomfortable. I sent you those videos. Did you watch them?
I did, both. The one I only watched halfway through because I didn't like it, but the Captain America one.
So they actually sit there and in the video...
The V for Vendetta one was great.
Talk about what it takes to cause a revolution.
That was the V for Vendetta one.
Yeah, okay. So
now the other one was writing a revolution.
Yeah. Well, because it's a channel.
I get it.
Writing, yeah.
I get it. And that's apropos. I just I thought that some of his theories were a little lazy, and I got bored halfway through. So I stopped.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. But I feel like when he's describing like the things that historically have led to revolution, like the things that have to be in place for it to start, it was very interesting to me because most of those things that he was describing are
where we are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted to link it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. Yeah. I loved it. All right, we are going to take a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, Alex Jones.
The woman that was rich and...
Oh, you have to...
Ayn Rand.
I'm sorry. You have to read Ayn Rand. We're talking about a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ayn Rand grew up in the forming USSR. She was there when the revolution happened.
Okay.
And she fled to America. And so she wrote a bunch of books that were about what she saw as the fall. So she's
what year did she leave Russia?
Early 1900s.
So it was when the revolution happened during World War I.
1917.
Yeah. So she was there when the revolution happened and fled before World War II.
I'm sorry, we both read that book, so maybe a
Yeah.
lot of other people are going to be ostracized from that
I'm actually
conversation,
recording
too.
right now, just in case we want to splice this in at some point. I tried recording.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and describe the book real quick for everybody and Harry.
Yeah, so Atlas Shrugged is a book that's it takes place in a like a alternate future from her in the 40s and 50s.
Right. So it's actually a utopian future that turns into a dystopia.
It's kind of dystopian on its own, but what?
Okay.
So what
Utopia, a
happens?
utopian ideal that gives birth to a dystopian output.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is America is rapidly socializing. They're turning over to communist kind of structures, and there's this guy named John Galt, and he creates an engine that runs off of static electricity in the air.
Like Tesla.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's pretty much a Tesla stand-in. And the factory that he works for before this engine ever gets created, he designs it, figures it out, and then the company he's working for socializes, basically.
They say, we now own your technology.
And they're like, oh, well, you know, we're going to give wages to people based on their needs, and we're going to take work from you based on your output. And he just goes, no.
And what's her name?
Atlas Shrugged
Atlas Shrugged.
is the name of the book.
I can buy you the book if you want. I'll get it for you on Amazon. You're not going to print it out.
It's very big.
It's like 600
1,000
pages.
No, it's like 1,000.
It's like 1,000 pages.
But so, go on.
So she was going to give something to the people, and the company says, "Fuck you, we own it. We ain't going to give it to
Right,
the
so this character, John Galt, what he does in protest is he steals his technology from the company and disappears. And then what he slowly starts doing is taking all of the people that are creative people that are making changes in the world, and he basically takes them away from the world. He says, why are you fighting a broken system? Come over here. Let's make a new one. And he has a valley that they all live in called Galt's Gulch. In the world, the more people that are disappearing, every time somebody disappears, the question is, well, I don't know why they disappeared. Who is John Galt? And the question, who is John Galt, is a way of saying, who fucking knows? Now, what he's doing is he's creating a society of the creators in a place where other people can't get to, in the wilderness. But it's a city in the wilderness, away from the corrupt system.
He's grabbing all of the talent from the world, all the most brilliant bankers, inventors, anybody who's the best at what they do.
He takes all the talent
takes them away from the world.
out of the world
breaks.
and says, hey, just come over here. You don't have to fight a broken system. Just be happy and create things over here.
Good.
And that's the premise of it's a great book.
And so, no, go on.
A nice dream world.
But he makes
actually, Talking Head and I have been talking about how to do this in the real world. It would take a little bit of money.
And one of the first people who he gets is one of the most brilliant bankers. And he sits there and he gets him. And so he's the one who owns Galt's Gulch. He's a guy named Midas Mulligan.
Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come.
Yeah, so the whole story is it's from the viewpoint of this woman who's really good at what she does. But she's watching everybody else who's good at what they do disappear. And she's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on because all these really smart people keep disappearing. And so eventually she tracks down like Talking Head said. John Galt.
That's you.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, Hatman. So like Hatman said, John Galt has become this like enigma, this mystery. It's a thing that people, like he said, it's who is John Galt has become a thing people say when they're like, oh, well, who the fuck knows? Because nobody remembers who he is, because he was a nobody. He was just brilliant. And so eventually, as everybody keeps disappearing, the world starts falling apart. And they keep having to do without the people who actually know how to do stuff. And so eventually, the whole system breaks down, and then they come back out to sit there and rebuild the world. Alex Jones here, coming to you live from, well, I don't want to say, frankly, because there's so much snow on the ground here that I feel like, geez, I've just been walking on water. Sure, it's frozen. Doesn't make me any less powerful. Doesn't make me any less poignant. Doesn't make me any less American. Now, let's just get into this because we need to expose the truth to you guys tonight. And I'm going to tell you, it's harrowing. So firstly, quintuplets were born 15 months early. Now, I got to tell you, the difficult thing about this is that when they're born that early, when they're born that unformed, when they're still holding Ronald Jesus Christ Reagan's hand as they come out of the womb, you got to understand, 15 months, like, so I'll tell you what takes 15 months. Useless court trials. And if you're going to sit there and you're going to have these children come out a full Alex Joneses early, then I'm telling you, we can't abort them. It's just illegal in Texas. It's the way we wrote the laws. It's what we do. We want to make sure that every life is sacred. So I'm going to hold in my hand, I've actually got them here. You can see this little wet spot in my palm. These are the quintuplets.
Oh,
and oh crap, I wiped my hand off on my pants earlier. Never mind. Like, we're not, I'm sorry. I killed them.
Delicate snowflakes.
All right, overweight kids may not be eating enough, study says. Now, this is important because as somebody who's dealt with weight issues myself and always felt like I haven't eaten enough. Like, no matter how many relatives I eat at Thanksgiving, no matter how many of my grandparents I deep fry and eat for Thanksgiving, I feel like I've never had enough. Now, you can sit there and you can say that I've got an issue with an oral fixation, or that I'm just somebody who consumes and doesn't actually give anything to society. I want to tell you right now, these overweight kids would beg to differ. And if you don't like children, then what are we going to do about those poor quintuplets who died 15 months before their prime? I don't know. I didn't eat them. I wiped them off on my pants. I could have eaten them. They're a little salty. I didn't want to. And in all honesty, these overweight kids, I feel like maybe they're pregnant. Maybe that's why they're overweight. I don't know. I'm not trying to slut shame anybody, particularly children, especially if they're 15 months premature. But my point being is that we've already talked about 40-year-old teen pregnancies, and you have to understand this is the stuff of Satan. Because if you're sitting there and you're thinking about these pregnant, overweight kids, these dead negative 15-month-old babies, I mean, this is the Lord crying out for you to make a difference. And you could do that by eating your grandparents.
Jesus Christ, that was a throwback.
All right, pork found in moose lasagna. Now, that's false advertising. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I had some mammoth chili the other day. I was in a reserve with Donald Trump Jr. We were just shooting shit for fun. Sure, some of the tour guides died. It's fine. We Dick Cheney'd them. But what we're going to do here is you got to understand, if I'm going to sit there and be told that my moose lasagna is moose and you giving me pig, I'm going to tell you, I can taste it in the cheese. It's pork milk.
It's pork milk.
We've done this. We've covered all of this. If that pork is found in your moose lasagna, what's next? Are you going to find chicken in your Soylent Green? I mean, this is one of those things where we have to hold the liberal elite to task. They're just using the European Union to sit there and put safety labels on shit. It's like, oh, well, this doesn't include children. What if I wanted to? You know, like, if this doesn't give me cancer, can I sue?
Bugs and children.
Now,
Gotcha.
if you really want to get cancer, or better yet, fight it. Either way, I don't care. I'll tell you this stuff does whatever you want me to tell you. If you want me to tell you that it's going to give you superpowers, I'm not going to lie to you. It will. What do we got?
Alex, today we have glute and free.
So glute and free. Now, let me tell you this. We've all heard about the dangers of soy. Turns the frogs gay, makes everybody soy boys, lowers your T levels. And you got to understand, if you've got this low testosterone shit, glute and free lets you squat down on all of this misinformation, this liberal bullshit, take a giant bullshit on it yourself, and then be free of all of that pain and suffering that has been built up in your colon by being such a soy boy. Let me tell you how we make this. We take vegans that are raised on a farm, free-range vegans. They get to eat whatever grass they want. We put them into a paper shredder that is built to take all of the Dead Sea Scrolls at once. We built it specifically for that because we needed to change them because, you know, the canon of the Bible needs to be shot out of the cannon every now and then because that's what lights the word of Ronald Jesus Christ on fire. Ooh. Now, so you want to sit there and you take these free-range vegans, we poke them and prod them until you can tell that they're just the simpiest little soy boys that you've ever seen. They don't have big Chad-like jaws, weak chins, turkey necks. I'm telling you, it's not really turkey because it can't be. They're vegan. So what you do is you take all of them and you put them into a giant meat grinder after the paper shredder. So you slice them 4 ways into kind of a cube steak. And you sit there and you take this cube steak, and because they're vegan, it gives them superpowers. Have you seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World? You have to understand, vegans get superpowers by signing a contract with the vegan liberal elites. And they sit there and these superpowers are, your eyes will glow, you'll float, you'll be able to beat up a teenage boy who wants to fuck your ex-girlfriend. It's great. So we sit there and we grind them into a paste, we put them into a sausage tube. You put that in the freezer. You sit there and you let it sit 48 hours. And then you slice it into nice little sausage slices. You sit there and you put it on a baking pan. Preheat the oven to 425. You sit there and you put a thin layer of water, just 1 cup if you're doing an 18-inch baking pan.
You're giving away the recipe.
No, this is what you had. We're selling the rolls.
Oh! I thought it was pills.
No. We're beyond that.
Oh,
we moved past the pigs and the pig milk.
Oh,
so you have to understand, there's no pig milk involved. It's all vegan. It's all vegan. No soy though. No soy. Pure vegan meat. You have to understand. So vegans know the secret. The superpowers come from being vegan, but you gotta eat meat to get them. So the whole thing is that's why we've got to eat vegans. You sit there, bake it in the oven, 425, 20 minutes. Check on it at about 15. You don't want it to get dry. Then you sit there and you just you mash it into a turkey baster, and you have to take it as a suppository. I apologize for that. It's just one of those things where it's not going to absorb properly unless it's gone into your colon. But either way, I'm telling you, you will be shooting lasers out of your eyes. Lasers.
Wow.
Full-fledged lasers. They're not Jewish, they're not from space.
Oh.
Because, I mean, sure, there's no ham in it. They can be kosher.
Okay.
They don't have to be, like, I'm not anti-Semitic. They can be Jewish if you're Jewish.
Okay.
But my point is, that's not the origin of their power. It's not coming from the rock at Bethesda. It's not coming from the cube in Mecca.
Oh.
It's coming from the pure, unadulterated power of vegan magic that we're eating through meat. All right, what? This is so blurry. Woman missing since she got lost. So, I'm calling bullshit on this. She was missing before she got lost. Let me tell you a story. Her boyfriend sat there and was trying to look for her for weeks, months, maybe years. I don't know. I didn't look into it. Maybe he was a mountain climber. Maybe she was too. Maybe she fell off a mountain. He tried to grab her. She fell into a mist that was somehow surrounding the base of the mountain. Maybe it was springtime. I don't know. But the whole thing is she was not missing since she got lost. She was there. He attested to it. Sure, he was found guilty later, but you and I both know that doesn't mean anything. Because if court case after court case has let me know anything, is that laws don't mean anything. That woman was missing from the moment that she lost eye contact with her boyfriend. Because if you don't bow to your man, if you don't submit yourself to his rock hard vegan meat powered penis, you're lost already.
Rock hard vegan powered penis.
All right.
Jesus. Oh, that says. Sorry, Alex.
Door can be
odor,
by ba.
Odor can be controlled by bathing.
All right, so I'm going to read this as it is. First of all, this is from the eel section. Door can be controlled by ba. Now, this is how the sheep sit there and try to get through. If the door can be controlled by ba, anybody can get in. We don't let sheep into heaven. I'm going to tell you, we need lions.
Ooh.
I don't care what Jesus said.
Orange lions.
That the lion will lay down by the lamb. You know why? Because that lamb beat the shit out of it. That lion is a cuck. That lion is a vegan, non-vegan meat-eating cuck. And so the door can be controlled by the ba. Goddamn right it will.
Ooh. Because
you are a goddamn lion-mutilating sheep. And I know that because you'll listen to anything I say. And I am your shepherd. Go on.
All right, that is all the time we have for the New World Order. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and if you have friends that you think would enjoy what we do here, please share the link, and we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching, and just remember, we're watching you too.
Be a good elf.
Someone is watching. There are strange